How have you been?
Oh, simply wonderful. Not an inconvenience in the world.
Man, it's still pretty weird to hear you talking like that. No offense.
None taken. Seems like our loppy-eared friend is delaying. Where, oh, where could he be?
You think he's coming?
Wait a moment. Yes. 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I was with some of the others dealing with... Oh my god!
What? What's the problem?
What do you mean, what's the problem? Dude, you look even worse than you did last time.
But I feel so much better now.
You sure?
Positive.
I mean, he seems fine to me.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Wanna just get started?
Anchors away!
Sure thing. At least you didn't do what I did. Good thing you walked in late before we were on air.
Whatever. We're starting. Greetings, listeners. I'm Nightmare Bonnie.
I'm Funtime Foxy.
And I'm Foxy the Pirate Fox. Yar!
Welcome to episode 3. As always, we got some questions from you guys, which we're gonna answer, and we got Foxy with us this time around.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I can see that. And you have good reason to be. Answering fan questions is fun.
Clearly. Plushtrap told me all about his time on the podcast with you guys, and he was saying some great things.
Oh, nice. Well, we're glad that you're hyped. On to the questions. Funtime, how about you read off our first one?
Very well. Our first question is being asked by Sunk. Nightmare Bonnie, do you think you could be a professional basketball player with how tall you are? The next statement I agree entirely with. You look like the type who could grab a hold of the hoop and destroy it just by hanging on.
Oh, oh boy, do I have a slice of life to share with you. I actually played basketball in middle school and high school, though it wasn't anything spectacular. To me, it was just another elective and not something I wanted to dedicate a whole lot to. I was always on the junior varsity. I've never made varsity, although it's not because I wasn't good. In fact, Coach literally told me himself that I was one of the best players their team ever had. The reason I was never part of the varsity was because they weren't actually allowed to put me on varsity. In the competitive scene, I would have an unfair advantage over humans, so if I played on the varsity team, in most matchups it would count as cheating. Scholastic League regulations just didn't allow it. Now, I was allowed to play in games that were open conference, since those are just for fun and sport. But once playoffs came around, I had to take the rest of the season off. The only exception to that rule was if our opponent also had an animatronic or animatronics on their team. And that did happen quite a few times, so I got to play in some competitive games. Probably one of the best memories I have of basketball was my sophomore year. That year, our team actually made it to state championships, and I got to participate in that match, because the team we were playing had freaking 7 animatronics on their team, which is by far the most I've ever seen on a single team. I was the only animatronic on my team, and most other teams we faced who had animatronics would also only have like 1 or 2. I'll spare you the ordeal, but I'm not joking when I say my team lost by a single point in overtime.
Wow.
It was the best, most intense game of basketball I had ever experienced in my life. I wasn't even upset that we lost. And here's the craziest part. Of those 7 animatronics they had on their team, 4 of them were Nightmare, Sun, Toy Bonnie, and this eye patch wearing motherfucker sitting right across from me.
So that's how you met.
Yep.
Wait a second, how do you play basketball with a hook for a hand?
I have a second hand I can switch the hook out with.
Ah, well, you learn something new every day.
I wasn't so fortunate. When I first picked up basketball, half the battle for me was just trying not to pop the ball as soon as I started dribbling or went to shoot. Also, yes, there was one time when I destroyed the hoop on accident. Thankfully, it wasn't during a match, and no one was hurt. I was practicing dunking just for fun. Now, there was no one else in the gym with me. I was the only one there. I'm just starting to get the hang of it when I hear this loud shrieking noise. I didn't know what it was, but it sounded like a metallic ripping sound. I thought there might have been something wrong with the hoop, but it looked fine. Then I looked up and saw what had caused the noise. So you know how basketball hoops in school gymnasiums are suspended from the ceiling?
Yes.
Right.
One of the support beams was split in half. My initial thought process was something along the lines of, oh god, is that my fault? Maybe it was like this the whole time and I just didn't notice. But if that were the case, then where did the noise come from? You know, obviously I was slightly shaken, but I eventually landed on, you know what, I should tell Coach, even if this is my fault, everyone will understand that it was an accident. And this is something that needs to be addressed ASAP, because, like, that's a broken support beam. That's gotta be a safety hazard. I found Coach and told him what happened, and he was like, oh, okay, well, let me check it out. We walked back to the gym. We got like 10 feet from the door, and we just hear this huge crash coming from inside. When we entered, the entire hoop, its metal frame, along with some tiny chunks of the structural beams lining the ceiling, was just on the ground. Apparently, a gigantic 500-pound animatronic rabbit forcefully slamming dunks for an hour and 15 minutes was enough to actually tear the entire hoop structure from its foundation on the ceiling.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh, golden.
So yeah, there's the long short of my basketball life for you. Damn, that was a long one. Next question.
Hey, this next question is for Funtime, specifically. Funtime Foxy, do you hope that Roxanne's crazy level isn't Scarlet Pearl level of crazy? Think of a crazy Australian woman that hits like a truck and has lots of dogs that a bark 10 miles away is the warning sign.
I have no idea where that analogy was going, but I'll tell you this. Roxanne is not crazy in the sense that she's unstable or dangerous. She is crazy in the sense that she sometimes does things or says things which makes us confused as hell about what she wants to make of her life. All she has going for her right now is that she's going to be an amazing mother for Cassie.
I see. Okay, this next one is from Risa Shibu. How fast can Foxy run?
My top sprinting speed is roughly 7.5 meters per second, so that would be 27 kilometers per hour, or 16.8 miles per hour.
Interesting. Up next, Bowser Vods is asking, why is Foxy scared of the flashlight?
Yes.
Cheers to that one.
That's good. That was really good.
Thanks. Next one we've got is from Luigi J. Their question is, do you think I can beat Cassidy?
Intriguing.
Well, I don't know. It depends.
I mean, if you're human, then there's no way in hell. If you're some kind of supernatural entity, celestial being, or alien, then maybe. It really just comes down to the power difference. Cause Cassidy is the second strongest out of all of us. The only one of us that would for sure beat Cassidy in a fight is Nightmarion. Like seriously, that dude could take on all of us nightmares at once and win with low diff. Mid diff at the very highest.
It makes sense for that to be the case. He is the guardian of the mysterious locked box, after all.
Right. This next question is from Omelette. Have you seen what the FNAF fandom has done to you?
Unfortunately, yes.
Dear Lord, don't get me started.
The fan art is unholy, but really, I don't have a problem with any of it. Shipping, simping, Rule 34, all that stuff doesn't really bother me most of the time. It really just comes down to the fact that people will be people, the internet will be the internet, and when a community as large as FNAF forms, basically any form of perversion can and will get its hands on it. Most of us could care less if you think a killer robot animal is attractive. The only time NSFW stuff is a problem is when someone tries to make it weird in a way that's illegal and just not okay.
Right. Speaking of NSFW, this question is from Pat Simmons. Dear Lord, has anyone met Plushtrap's girlfriend?
I have, and I'll just say one thing. She's way too horny for her own good. The fact that she looks like me makes it even worse.
You just said two things.
Wait, hold up. She looks like you?
Yeah, she looks like me if I was... never mind. There's no way for me to put this without sounding disrespectful. Her name was something weird. It was similar to mine. Foxina? No. Fexa, that was it. Her name was Fexa.
Fexa? Wait, doesn't she work as one of the stripper dancers from that crazy Freddy Fazbear's place a couple towns over?
She used to, from what she told me. Ayo, how do you know that?
I've gone there a couple times with the boys for drinks.
Come on, were the drinks really the only reason you went there? Be honest.
Okay, fine. I may have had some of their food as well. But you can't blame me, okay? Like, seriously. They have some luxury meals.
Play innocent all you want. Nothing's gonna save you from being a simp.
Sure, I'll admit the promiscuous atmosphere in that place was a little tempting, and it was hard not to stare. But as soon as I had a bite of their food, I might as well have left reality in that moment. Hands down, the absolute best steak sandwich and margarita I've ever had in my life.
Did you know Fazbear Entertainment has attempted to sue that place 34 times?
What the frick?
Rumor has it a 35th lawsuit is pending.
What exactly is Fazclares being sued for?
Copying our brand.
I mean, they did in some ways. How have none of those lawsuits worked out in Fazent's favor?
Actually, one of them did. But Fazclares had made so much money by that point that their bank account was literally able to tank the deduction they were charged for.
Jesus.
Although, from what I've heard, their business has been quite slow lately. I'm unsure if that place will hold up against another lawsuit if Fazbear Entertainment knows how much money needs to be charged to run them out of business.
Maybe that's the reason Fexa quit.
More likely, Fexa quitting is the reason for their business being slow. Right, moving on. We have a question from Beast Prince 9000. Is there any drama going on with the animatronics?
Well, obviously the elephant in the room here is that Circus Baby disappeared.
Yes, I'm worried about her. I hope she's okay.
Same.
And then we have our smaller scale issues, like Funtime and Roxanne's breakup. But stuff like that typically resolves quickly.
We must simply pray that they find Circus Baby alive and well.
Agreed.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode.
Indeed. Remember, listeners, to leave us your questions in the comments section for a chance to appear in the next episode. And as always, we'll do a poll where you can vote for the next person you want us to invite onto the podcast.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Take care, stay safe.
And we'll catch you next time on Funtimes and Nightmares. Alright, we're off air.
You guys okay with me crashing here tonight? The parking lot was closed off, so I had to park a ways away. It's not too far, but with what's going on, I'm not sure how I feel walking to my car while it's dark out.
It's no problem, man.
Of course. Neither of us were planning on leaving either, actually. Understandably so. I saw those pictures. Quite disturbing.
Well, no worries. We're all gonna look out for each other, no matter what happens.